Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Lords of the Night. With me, as always, is the Lord of Pain, Ranting Monkey,
Hey guys.
and the Lord of Pennies, Satsu 2 cents.
What up, though?
And I'm your host, Scribe, the Lord of Punishment. Hello, chat. Hello, everyone. Thank you, Terry Diamantis. Stream title pun deserves money. Thank you.
Oh, there you go.
And we'll get to the relevance and significance of that pun shortly as we get into the news. But before then, how are you guys? How are you, Satsu?
I was doing so good today. I stayed off of Twitter most of the day and got a lot of editing done. But 10 minutes ago, I hopped on Twitter and instantly wanted to kill myself. So, as of now, I'm better because I'm talking to you guys. But 10 minutes ago, I was standing on the top of my building.
Wow. I'm glad we're here to catch you before you fall.
Yeah, I was going to, and then I looked at my watch and I was like, "Oh shit, hold on, I gotta."
Yay, we're lifesavers. And how are you, Monkey?
I had a good day with Grand Monkey. She was so cute. I have a Grand Monkey story for you.
Oh boy.
For those of you who missed it, Grand Monkey ran her first stream today.
Yay.
Which was cute and funny. But we go upstairs afterwards, and she tells me she has to use the bathroom. I'm like, okay, well, go on in there. And she goes into the bathroom, and she's in there for like a minute, and I don't hear the normal sounds you would hear, like the toilet seat going up or anything. So I yell in there, say, are you going to the bathroom? And I peek my head around the corner, and there's this little 3-year-old girl walking at me with her panties around her ankles and her dress tucked up under her neck. And she's rubbing her butt cheek. She goes, my butt cheek is so soft. Want to feel it?
Wow.
Like, no, sweetie. Why don't you go in there and do what you need to do? That child, she kills me.
Oh
But
my
yeah,
god. That's hilarious.
we had a pretty good day today, so.
That's amazing.
Jesus Christ.
I'm as soft as a baby's bottom.
Oh, my butt cheek is soft. Want to feel it?
Oh.
Child.
Well,
It's even better if you know that she's starting to develop modesty.
right.
So, like, whoever is changing her, she doesn't mind them seeing her naked. But if anybody else is there, you're like, no, go away. But that same child doesn't mind waddling out of the bathroom, bare ass naked, rubbing her own butt.
Thank you, Sarah Plyer. For my favorite pepper. Been up for 24 hours. I hate insomnia. Love you guys.
Well, I hope it gets better for you.
Yeah, get some. Try to rest. Maybe we should talk in like lulling voices tonight to try to put Sarah to sleep.
Put us on in the background. Well, it's Friday the 13th. We don't want people going to sleep. I don't want to be responsible for a massacre.
No, wait. That's Nightmare on Elm Street, not Friday the 13th.
But if you fall asleep, he could find you easier and kill you.
Because it's Friday the 13th.
Oh, it's Friday the 13th. Don't
Yeah.
hump today. Humping gets you killed in Friday the 13th. Always does.
Okay, well, I'm not talking about sleeping in the euphemistic sense. I'm talking about actual sleeping.
But that puts her in danger of
No.
him
Well, unless she lives on Elm Street, she's got nothing to worry about. Or in Springwood, because he was the Springwood slasher. So
Excuse me. I saw Jason go to space, so you're not safe anywhere.
Oh, for God's sakes. Anyway, thank you for the donation, Sarah. I did have a pepper jack earlier after I got home from work to try to cool down and relax after a long, hot walk home. Also a very busy day at work. So I don't have any Dr. Pepper right now, but I did have some earlier, so I appreciate it. And it's all going towards a good cause of promoting my diabetes.
Yay.
Yay. Soon my toes will fall off. Okay.
And then you can play a diabetic in a movie.
Yay, like Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson.
That bastard.
Who, like, he's playing an amputee in Skyscraper, but he's not actually an amputee?
Yup.
What outrage is this? Yes, well, we'll get to something similar later on in the news. But first, Monkey Dick, Jim Jones, movies. Hit that like button if you have not already, and please share our stuff because As Satsu reported, apparently there was no notification prior to going live of the stream actually existing on like subscription or some people's subscription things and other things. So,
no, dude, I was on your channel until you went live. It didn't show it to me.
Yeah, there's something like trying to preview a stream to people. It used to work for me. Doesn't work now, apparently.
No, the only way you can see it now is you have to be subscribed to them and go into your subscription feed. If you're on their channel, you won't see it until it goes live.
That sucks.
Yeah.
Okay. Either way, sharing is caring. So thank you very much. Anything else before we get into the schnuzz?
No.
No, I think that's everything.
Okay. Well then, we'll start with the important news first. Ex-CIA director. Mueller investigation will have a widening circle of indictments. Former CIA Director Michael Hayden anticipates more indictments, including those of Americans. Is Michael Hayden actually a part of the investigation?
I don't know.
Oh, no. Okay. Well, this story will explain. Expecting more indictments to come in Special Counsel Robert Mueller's investigation into Russian interference in the 2016 U.S. election. Appearing on CNN's The Lead with Jake Tapper on Friday, Hayden expressed his belief that today's indictments against 12 Russian officers are not the end. The richer in detail we get, the more I begin to believe that we're probably going to be seeing a widening circle of indictments here, Hayden said. Hayden, who was CIA director under President George W. Bush, added that he would, quote, not be surprised if future indictments were of Americans, citing the seemingly deliberate move to not explicitly...
I'm sorry. Time out.
Okay.
12 indictments dropped today.
Yes.
And CNN is reporting about what somebody thinks might happen.
That's what I'm kind of emphasizing here, is that so far as I know, Michael Hayden's got absolutely dick to do with the investigation, but they just brought him on so he can sort of pontificate. Yeah, CNN.
CNN. Keep going. I'm sorry. I've only been awake for an hour, guys, and I'm still kind of groggy. So I was making sure I was hearing that right.
No,
we have actual news, but CNN is going with speculation instead. I was just making sure I heard.
Yeah, this is their headline story. I was hoping they would get to the actual details of the indictments, but apparently not. So let me try to find that, because you guys hear the sirens?
I do.
Yeah, it's the fun of living half a mile from a fire department and a different half mile from the highway patrol office.
The popo.
Okay. Oh, for fuck's sake. Where was the story that I'm going to go to my Twitter, because I posted the actual story that had the details earlier today, but CNN keeps changing things up with, let's not give you the news. Let's give you a bunch of speculation from somebody who has no idea what's going on at all.
I'm sorry to have interrupted that. Even for CNN doing it the day that the information is broke. That's weird.
Okay, here's the actual story. Let me start over. The Justice Department announced indictments against 12 Russian nationals as part of Special Counsel Robert Mueller's investigation of Russian interference in the 2016 election, accusing them of engaging in a, quote, sustained effort to hack Democrats' emails and computer networks. All 12 defendants are members of the GRU, a Russian Federation intelligence agency with the main intelligence directorate of the Russian military, who were acting in their, quote, official capacities. The revelations provide more detail on the sophisticated assault on the U.S. election in 2016. Sophisticated assault? I thought it was a bunch of Facebook posts. The U.S. election in 2016, including the release of emails designed to damage Democratic presidential candidate Hillary Clinton. Yeah, who designed those emails?
Yeah.
Oh, was that the DNC and Hillary Clinton? Oh, yeah, that's right.
No, the Russians made that all up.
Right. The indictment was announced at almost exactly the moment that President Donald Trump rolled into the quadrangle of Windsor Castle to meet the awaiting Queen Elizabeth II in the symbolic high point of his visit to Britain. Trump is due to meet with Russian President Vladimir Putin, who has denied election meddling, in Helsinki on Monday for a summit that includes a one-on-one meeting with only interpreters present. White House Press Secretary Sarah Sanders said Friday the summit will not be canceled. The Justice Department says the hacking targeted Clinton's campaign, Democratic National Committee. Let me try that again. The hacking targeted Clinton's campaign, Democratic National Committee and the Democratic Congressional Campaign Committee with the intention to, quote, release that information on the internet under the names DC Leaks and Guccifer 2.0 and through another entity. Deputy Attorney General Rod Rosenstein said the indictment does not name any American citizen, but told reporters that defendants, quote, corresponded with several Americans during the course of the conspiracy through the internet. Quote, there is no allegation in this indictment that any American citizen committed a crime, Rosenstein said at a news conference. There is no allegation that the conspiracy altered the vote count or changed any election result. So tell me about the definition of the word meddling again.
Scribe, we don't need worthless shit like definitions, dude.
Thank you, Cryptic. Big news, folks. DNC had a stupid password system a child can hack and 12 Russian shit posters. Yeah, well, I mean, if they hacked into somebody else's private stuff, that is a crime, by all means. Yeah. But I swear, there's been poll after poll I've seen, or at least research I've seen, that says most Americans decided who they were going to vote for in August and September before all this stuff really dropped. So nobody gives a shit.
Well, the other thing that needs to be remembered here, and I had this argument today, whoever hacked it, because remember, these are still allegations, folks. They can say that they know, and that's fine, but we have what? Innocent until proven guilty, right?
Presumably.
Presumably. Anyway, none of it would be at all relevant if the DNC hadn't have been involved in shady shit.
Mm-hmm.
Because the reason that this blew up had nothing to do with Donald Trump. It had to do with the treatment of Bernie Sanders during the primary. That's what all of the horrible shit that came out was about. And if they hadn't have been doing dirty shit, none of this would have mattered at all.
Well, you think that's why they're focusing so hard on it? Because we need to keep their attention this way, because if they get off of Russian meddling, they might get on our meddling, and we can't fuck with that. We don't want.
I mean, the meddling inception here. They were meddling in the primary and got caught doing it by people meddling in our election. Fuck off.
Thank you, Cryptic. The password was Obama08. Is that true? That'd be hilarious. And thank you, Shady Grin. Leave my shit out of this. Oh, Shady. Ha ha ha. Shady shit.
Sorry. Yeah. They were doing underhanded stuff. How's that?
There you
underhanded
go.
Shit.
Yeah, expand your vocabulary.
Again, if somebody's meddling, catch them. If you're breaking into a server that is illegal, I hope you go to jail for it. But let's stop pretending Hillary Clinton lost the election over this.
Right.
To me, this is like one of those, on those goofy ass movies where somebody's robbing a bank and more professional people come in at the same time they came in, and the police shows up and they're like, "Oh my God, stop those guys! They're robbing."
They're robbing the bank. To me, it's a farce, is what it is, and the DNC is trying to delegitimize Trump and I realize we're not talking about DNC. This was a story that happened. But the people that are supporting this narrative of it benefited Trump. Monday, Matt. Hi, how you doing? It's nonsense. You can't show in any way that this actually influenced the election. The only thing it did is show that the DNC was up to some shit they shouldn't have been.
Yeah, and until somebody shows me some evidence that says these actions directly changed vote totals or people's votes or something else. And I mean, and even if that were the case, and I'll make this concession, even if that were the case, you'd have absolutely no way of knowing unless you can read minds.
Yeah, exactly.
Who knows how many votes were changed away? I mean, if nothing else, from what I recall, and I could be mistaken, from what I recall, the release of the Hillary emails did more to disillusion the Democrats overall than to give Trump a boost anywhere. Now you could say, oh, well, Democrats that stayed home or didn't vote or voted for Green Party or whatever else to defy the DNC or something, then gave the election over to Trump. I doubt it. I'd be surprised if that were the case. Thank you, Cryptic. It's true. The password got fished faster than a hooker's crotch.
Yeah, they have dumb people working at the DNC. That's what happened. Because let's remember, this wasn't a hack. This was a phish, and that is entirely different. That means somebody ignored the warning. Never give your password to anyone.
Thank you, number 13. Monkey, they don't care about influence. They want to tie it to Trump or Trump supporters to prove who the Nazis are. Yeah.
Well, that's the other thing that doesn't get talked about when we talk about, who benefited from this. There was quite the controversy when Donald Trump made a joke asking the Russians to find Hillary's missing emails.
Mm-hmm.
The possibility that could have hurt Trump never gets brought up, ever. It's just, they hacked the DNC, so that must have helped Trump.
Well, and the other thing that nobody seems to be bringing up at the same time when it comes to benefits or anything, Trump did absolutely nothing to benefit himself.
Yeah.
Between the Access Hollywood video, his own rhetoric on the campaign trail, how he talked about that Gold Star family, and just on and on and on. That guy set up so many landmines for himself that, can you imagine Hillary Clinton saying anything equitable to what Donald Trump did to himself about herself? It would be nuts. And he did it all. I mean, if Trump, this was Trump's election to lose.
It was Hillary's election to lose.
Well, okay. Trump
did.
Yeah, well, she did. Okay, I misspoke. But either way, the fact that Trump won in spite of everything he did, says more about how little probably Hillary's revelations about her emails had on the election. It just.
Well, I think that's what it is, though. Is like she lost so fucking epically under all those circumstances that they just refuse to believe that it's that. Like, just like it absolutely wasn't Hillary calling people fucking degenerates and shit like that, and it absolutely wasn't about her making her shit gendered, and none of that was it. That couldn't have played a part. That's not even on the table. But it was definitely some ominous force that we can't see. 100% that, but no way it was her.
Don't forget, this is the same woman who claimed she was broke because she only had $10 million.
Yeah, I mean, it's not as though there wasn't a campaign going on for 2 years prior to the emails that might have set things up the way they were. But anyway, regardless, the short answer, the short version is that so far, after 2 years of this quagmire of an investigation, nothing has yet been shown to show that there was any criminal conspiracy, collusion, or that any of this actually affected the election. They keep calling it election interference and meddling. No one has shown that. And and again, like I've said before, if crimes were committed, by all means, prosecute, investigate, etc. But if the crux of all this is to prove collusion with the Russians and election interference by a foreign power, I don't see anything. Nothing has come up yet. Thank you, Circa Zero. I couldn't resist, so I got Daring, Dankula, and the Quartering with the tongue-buttering turtle caves they read it at about 35 to 40 minutes in. Oh, geez.
Did Bering freak out? The last time I saw him read it, he was like, "These goddamn people."
Yeah, we haven't had a tongue-buttering blitz on other streams in quite a while.
No.
Now, I'm not saying that anyone should go and do that. In fact, I'm very particularly not saying do that. I'm just saying that it's been a while since such a thing has happened. That's all.
I feel like one day we should do something like that. Like just everybody in the stream at the current moment, including us, go over to somebody else's stream randomly while they're streaming with us and fuck with them for like 5 minutes and then come back.
I'd only feel comfortable doing that if it was somebody that we knew.
Oh, of course, somebody we knew.
Yeah. Like if someone, Weebo Jones, had the temerity to stream at the same time we do or something.
Yeah.
Or Irate Bear, or something. Anyway.
No, well, but see, we need to do it on the down low. What we need to do is come up just with a random word, like the word of the day, for instance.
Oh yeah.
And people just go over there and say it and disappear without explaining why.
Yeah, no explanation. Just
a word of the day. God, If only we had started doing something
If
like
only
that.
we had.
Huh.
Yeah, that's
Maybe there'll be a word of the day sometime during the course of this stream that people then can carry off into other streams between now and tomorrow night and so on. I don't know. Maybe that will happen at some point before the stream ends. Anyway, moving on.
Dun, dun, dun.
Moving on to other things in the world of politics and such. Republic. So yesterday we talked about the Strazak.
Yes.
Strazak?
The Strazak. Now we have Republicans praise Page's testimony one day after battle with the Strazak. Former FBI lawyer Lisa Page, pardon me. Former FBI lawyer and adulteress Lisa Page was questioned behind closed doors on Friday, just hours after FBI agent Peter Strazak had been grilled in a raucous 10-hour public hearing, and Republicans said they learned new information from a witness who was able to talk more freely than the Strazak. Two Republican congressmen, Representatives John Ratcliffe of Texas and Matt Gaetz of Florida, characterized Page's closed-door testimony as more forthcoming than the Strazak's because she answered more questions about Special Counsel Robert Mueller's investigation, as well as the Hillary Clinton probe. Well, if it's behind closed doors, she had a bit more cover.
You missed a super chat there, bud.
Oh, sorry about that. Who? Hello?
Gregory Hurst, just above Circus Zero.
Oh, I apologize, Gregory. I'm sorry. Unfortunately, password was Moose and Swirl.
Gee, it's Boris in Natasha.
That was my attempt at Bullwinkle, which
that
also
wasn't
sounds a little bit like Barney the way I do it, but whatever. I need a more baritone to do the Bullwinkle. Let's see. Republican Representative Mark Meadows, a North Carolina Republican, said they had learned new information that has, quote, been a long time coming, but he and other lawmakers declined to provide details. Quote, there is significant new info she has provided, Meadows said, adding that he wouldn't discuss details unless transcripts of the interviews were released. So you're keeping certain things confidential, but and I know Strazak was not exactly the golden child of witnesses, but he was in a public forum and not behind closed doors. Maybe if he had been behind closed doors and had some expectation of confidentiality, or at least partially, he might have been more open.
Well, didn't he testified behind closed doors like a week before he testified publicly, didn't he?
Thank you, James Koch. Where is Bering streaming? Asking for a friend. I think, is he still? I thought this was earlier. I could be mistaken.
Yeah, the three of them, I think, do a show now weekly.
Did he do it behind the closed doors? I don't know. I thought this. Well, yeah, they said this was his first public appearance. I don't know if it was his first appearance of testimony, but
let me check because I'm almost positive he did.
Meadows called Page a very credible witness and said she had been falsely accused of not wanting to cooperate with the committee, a charge that had been levied by his fellow Republicans and President Trump. Republicans went so far as to even praise Page for her testimony after she had been threatened with contempt earlier in the week. Quote, I found Lisa Page to be far more credible than the Strazak, Gaetz said. We do not see the smug attitude that we saw from the Strazak. And in a sign that Republicans are not eager to replay the nasty the Strazak hearing, GOP lawmakers signaled Friday that they were unwilling to force Page to testify publicly, despite earlier indications that they would.
He testified. There's a story from CNN on June 28th. So I don't know if it was testified. It said he met with lawmakers.
Oh, okay. Well, then maybe that doesn't equate to testifying. So I don't know. Anyway. So she gave them some information, which they won't tell us what it is. I presume if it was some wham bam, lightning bolt to the whole thing, we'll hear about it really quick.
I wonder if she gave up her email or text messages.
Oh, yeah,
because she has those available too.
That's also true. All right. Moving on to the wonderful world of entertainment. Let's first start with an update to a story we read last night.
Okay.
Henry Cavill apologizes after #MeToo backlash.
Apologize to these people.
Given his forthrightness and just candor in that interview that we will be discussing here shortly, I'm honestly surprised and disappointed. I mean, I would be disappointed regardless, but I'm actually surprised because it seemed like he had a relatively reasonable handle on the reality of the situation, but all the same. Henry Cavill has apologized after backlash over statements he recently made during an interview with GQ Australia. The Man of Steel star talked to the magazine about his thoughts on the current Me Too movement. While the actor said, quote, stuff has to change absolutely in terms of men's behavior, he also added, quote, it's important to also retain the good things, which were a quality of the past, and get rid of the bad things. There's something wonderful about a man chasing a woman, he said. There's a traditional approach to that, which is nice. I think a woman should be wooed and chased, but maybe I'm old-fashioned for thinking that. It's very difficult to do that if there are certain rules in place, Cavill said. Because it's like, well, I don't want to go up and talk to her because I'm going to be called a rapist or something, he said. So you're like, forget it. I'm going to call an ex-girlfriend instead and then just go back to a relationship which never really worked. But it's way safer than casting myself into the fires of hell because I'm someone in the public eye. And if I go and flirt with someone, then who knows what's going to happen? Unquote. The response on social media was swift and condemning of the former star of The Tutors. Thank you, James Colley. As much as I want to stay and listen to Lords of the Night, I am going to drinks with a busty 25-year-old. I'm thankful for young women with low standards. By the way, I'm 39 and happy as fuck. Well,
Record
have
it
fun,
all.
James. Yeah, have a blast.
Do your thing.
Maybe give her one too. We'll see. Let's see. The response on social media from someone named Baddest Padme. Oh, yeah. Henry Cavill is a whole idiot. The whole Me Too movement has him scared someone may call him a rapist? Question mark, question mark. Just don't rape anyone, Henry.
Yeah, tell that to Aziz Ansari.
Writer Streamer, that's all one word, on Twitter says, things that make you go, what the fuck? If you're approaching, not YOU''RE, it's YOUR, this person writes. If you're approaching to chasing and or talking to or picking up women leads you to be afraid a woman might accuse you of rape and or sexual assault, this leads me to question your style of quote unquote chasing women. Hashtag do better.
Yeah, for fuck's sake. I hate people.
And then someone named Braden Moore says, well, Henry Cavill is trash. It's pretty easy to not rape someone.
You know what this is?
Stupidity.
This is a bunch of people, like, because I talk to these people all the time. The people who don't see the shit that we see on the day-to-day basis, the people who still have their innocence and think that, when women say the things that they say or these movements say the things that they say, they hear the barest minimum. Like, don't be an asshole to women and say really fucked up shit. But they don't hear the women or see the women or even to add another layer to it. They just pretend that they don't see it and pretend it doesn't exist. When the extremists come out and say simply speaking to a woman is harassment, they erase that shit and pretend like it never happened. Nobody says that. Nobody thinks like that. So when somebody actually brings up genuine concern from hearing something like that, they're like, you're fucking crazy. It's not, nobody thinks that way. And it's like, yes, they do. I've had to correct Michelle on this like 10 times because every time she hears something outrageous, she's like, no one thinks like that. And I'm like, bitch, stop saying that shit because it's not true. People think like that all the time.
On Friday, Cavill released a statement to CNN saying, quote, having seen the reaction to an article in particular about my feelings on dating and the Me Too movement, I just wanted to apologize for any confusion and misunderstanding that this may have created. Insensitivity was absolutely not my intention, he said. In light of this, I would just like to clarify and confirm to all that I have always and will continue to hold women in the highest of regard, no matter the type of relationship, whether it be friendship, professional, or a significant other. Never would I intend to disrespect in any way, shape, or form, Cavill said. This experience has taught me a valuable lesson as to the context and the nuance of editorial liberties. I look forward to clarifying my position in the future towards a subject Whoa, okay. I'm reading it as he's apparently written it. I look forward to clarifying my position in the future towards a subject that it's so vitally important, I think he meant that is, and in which I wholeheartedly support.
Yeah.
Yeah,
basically, he kind of snuck it. Like a lot of people got upset at that last statement because they said it felt like he was trying to say that people misrepresented what he said, which they obviously did. But he's not allowed to think that, because when a woman tells you you're wrong, then you just accept it and whatever. Even if they completely misinterpreted your words, it's your fault.
Yeah.
So, and I'm just like, really instantly. He never done nothing. There's no like anything against him or whatever, but that statement alone is like instant piece of shit. You're a waste of space. Like, what? Is that how that works now?
The only thing I will say is that I'm glad he did not say, I apologize for anything I have ever done to blah, 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 blah. At least he kept it isolated to this one article. But all the same, he didn't have anything to apologize for. He was asked a direct question. He gave a direct answer that was honest and talked about his interpretation and his perspective. There's nothing to apologize for. And it's disappointing, because he really did speak a very plain truth, that this is something, this is how men, not just celebrity men, but men in general, are being forced to think and feel when it comes to approaching or interacting with women. Not because we want to, but because the risks of doing so and getting it wrong outweigh any potential benefits.
Oh yeah. And and it's just it's akin to the people who say that women don't lie about rape. Like the ones who are just like, that's not a thing. That doesn't happen. You're just lying and saying that happens. You're trying to scare people. It's like, no, that is a thing that actually happens. Like, we don't just make that up.
Thank you, Johnny Hellcat. Hashtag Superman did nothing wrong. You're absolutely right.
Can I just point out, I mean, he was basically called a rapist just for what he fucking said.
Right. Exactly. Just try not to rape Henry.
Do you need any more proof of what he was talking about?
Yeah. In other entertainment news, and referring back to the title of the stream, Scarlett Johansson will not play trans man in film after Backlash.
And the movie's going to tank.
If it ever comes out at all.
Right.
Scarlett Johansson has opted to withdraw from a film in which she was set to play a transgender man after her casting drew criticism from the LGBTQ community. Yes, because the LGBTQ community is a giant hive mind, and the 5 or 10 people that actually spoke out represent the entire demographic. And again, we come back to the whole idea that community just means everyone is on the same page because of one aspect to them that relates or something. Johansson said an exclusive statement. Good Christ, CNN. How about in an exclusive statement? You guys hate the word the, or you love it in places where it doesn't belong. Is and in, okay. Johansson said an exclusive statement to Out.com that her decision was made, quote, in light of recent ethical questions raised surrounding my casting, unquote. Ethical questions. CNN has reached out to Johansson's representatives for further comment. Johansson had been set to play transgender man Dante Tex Gill. Thank you, James Colley. Times like this, I have to say, thanks, Harvey.
Yeah.
Okay, let me back up for a second. And I was thinking about this today. The core, the sort of backbone of the whole Me Too movement has a point, because Harvey Weinstein was someone who should have been outed decades ago for the bullshit he was pulling. But people were scared, or they cared more about their careers, etc. So the fact that the Me Too thing has made it okay for people to bring up people who are doing awful things, even if they're in positions of power, is not inherently a bad thing. It's the overreaction and the overzealousness and the widening of the umbrella to include anyone who has a penis as a suspect for anything and everything that someone calls harassment. We just saw it the other night with that professor guy who someone said, oh, he criticized my writing and it was violently sexually abusive talk or something.
Mm-hmm.
There's a line. And a lot of people have said that there's a line between actual sexual assault and guys just either being jerks or people taking guys that are just being harmless and turning them into jerks, which then evolves into being villains.
Yeah, which was the same thing with the chick with the Guild Wars 2 shit.
Yeah.
That just happened.
Okay, moving on. Johansson's casting, however, came at a moment when the LGBTQ community and allies are encouraging the casting. CNN, fuck me, twice? Okay. Reading it as it's written. Johansson's casting, however, came at a moment when the LGBTQ community and allies are encouraging the casting transgender actors in transgender roles. The casting of. Do you guys hate two-letter words? Is that what this is?
No, they just are bad at their jobs.
What they need somebody to tell them what might happen if you use the proper words.
Yeah, get Hayden in here to make a belief statement about dropping off two-letter words. The recent debut of Ryan Murphy's FX drama Pose, I've never heard of that, which featured the largest ever cast of transgender actors in series regular roles on a television series, has been pointed to as a shining example this practice in action. Fuck me! Of example of this practice in action. Shining example, this practice in action. Jesus.
Scribe's going to have a heart stroke.
Oh my God. I was about to say something I didn't want to talk about, but, I have another aneurysm here. After the immediate backlash to Johansson's casting began, the actress issued a statement to Bustle that was criticized for its dismissive nature. In her new statement, Johansson acknowledges making a misstep. Oh boy. Quote, "Our cultural understanding of transgender people continues to advance, and I've learned a lot from the community since making my first statement about my casting. And I realize it was insensitive," she said. Excuse me. "I have great admiration and love for the trans community and am grateful that the conversation regarding inclusivity in Hollywood continues."
What the fuck does it mean to have great love for a community?
I don't know.
I just really like people who think they're women even though they were born with a penis. I love them.
Thank you, John. Real quick. Thank you, Johnny Hellcat. CNN's kryptonite is grammar. Apparently so, or at least mine is, I should say.
I do have an interesting question that needs answered because this particular group of people is really adept at creating just like logical, just inconsistencies all over the place. The recent argument that I've been hearing about trans people is that trans men and trans women are women, period. Full stop. You can drop the trans because it takes away from their actual, womanhood or manhood. They are women and men, and to the point to where there's no difference in the two, indeed. Right? So if Scarlett Johansson is playing a trans man and trans men, or Scarlett Johansson is playing a trans woman and trans women are women, full stop, then Scarlett Johansson is simply just playing a woman on a movie, right?
In the argument there, yes. What Satsu's getting at here is if trans women are just women, then what they're basically arguing is that no woman should have been allowed to play this part.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, like it doesn't make any sense because if they are that full stop, because the reason that I was asking is because I was reading the feed and I saw somebody said they were talking about, men or trans men. And the person said the fact that you separated those two is very telling about what you really think about trans people. He was like, well, what do you mean? I was talking about both men and trans men. And they're like, there's no difference.
Unless it comes to movie roles.
Yeah. Trans men are men. And that's period. That's so confusing to me.
It's part of the stupidity where people don't think about what they're actually saying. And there's far too much of that in this world.
I'm going to save one for deep topic later because we're already into MSS News time. So, guys, if you have news stories you'd like us to read on the air, please send them to us via Twitter using the hashtag MSS News. Can't promise we'll get to them all, but we'll look at as many as we have time for. And first off is William R. Costin, W.R. Costin, or Emperor W.R. Costin. Not Canadian. Hussein, if I'm saying, or Hussein, I'm not quite sure if I'm saying that right. and McLeod exchanged sharp words over asylum seeker crisis. This is from Canada, so these are Canadian politicians. Ontario's immigration language is, quote, irresponsible, divisive, fear-mongering, says Hussein. A meeting between Canada's federal and provincial immigration ministers ended bitterly Friday, with federal immigration minister Ahmed Hussein openly criticizing the Ontario government for what he called a dangerous and un-Canadian approach to the use of the issue of asylum seekers. Quote, they've chosen to use false language with respect to so-called queue jumping when we have told them over and over again there is no such thing, Hussein told reporters in Winnipeg at the closing press conference. Quote, asylum seekers are processed in a separate queue at the IRB, and all the other regular immigration programs are processed by IRCC, and conflating the two knowingly is irresponsible, it's divisive, it's fear-mongering, and it's not Canadian, and it's very dangerous. And. Okay.
All right.
All right. I don't understand, and I don't know much about Canadian immigration or politics or anything, so I'm assuming.
That's right. Nobody cares about Canadian.
Thank you, Gregory Hurst. Another woman unemployed. Yay, progress. Well, that's what I put on Twitter today. I said, harassing and bullying a woman out of work because of what she is. #MeToo. That's literally what happened.
So that you can give work to people you say are just women.
Right.
I mean, that point cannot be made enough.
This one comes from Issy Untitled, or Icy, ISY Untitled. Dead to me. Aunt says she didn't agree to split Chase the Ace jackpot with nephew. I guess that's some kind of... it's another Canadian story. It's like a Canadian lottery. A woman awarded half of a $1.2 million lottery prize in Nova Scotia says her nephew is dead to her after he took half the prize money, and that she only wrote his name on the ticket for, quote, good luck. Meanwhile, at least one lawyer says she may have a case. Barb Reddick and her nephew, Tyrone McGinnis, each received checks for $611,319.50 on Thursday after a $1,222,639 ticket with both their names on it was pulled Wednesday night at a Chase the Ace draw in Margaree, Nova Scotia. I'm getting some weird echo from somewhere.
I'm not hearing anything.
Yeah, me neither.
Okay, I don't know. That's really odd. Reddick surprised the organizers by telling the media soon afterward that she would be taking McInnes to court. On Friday, Reddick explained to CTV News Channel that although McInnes purchased the ticket, she sent him $100 for tickets and told him to put his name on it for good luck. She says she only planned to give him $150,000 if he won. He bought other tickets and didn't put my name on it, she said. I'm not greedy, she went on. If he would have won, I wouldn't have gotten nothing out of him, Reddick added. Reddick said she will never speak with her nephew again in this life or the next. He's dead to me. I don't want nothing to do with him. Jesus.
Canadians are getting mean.
Why? So you just have to write your name on the ticket and you suddenly get half the money? I guess. I don't know.
I don't know how weird Canadian things work.
I don't understand how that works either. If it was her ticket, then she should get the full amount, I guess. Let's see. Okay, this one, variations of this were sent to us by Colleen Bernier, and I saw a couple other people that already missed it. Update to the Papa John's controversy. Not only is the CEO, former CEO, and former now chairman of the board, John Schnatter, no longer working basically for Papa John's, his image will now be removed from all marketing.
Yes.
Papa John's.
We have to erase him from existence.
Yes.
For the crime of using the N-word in a way that wasn't racist. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Papa John's, which has featured founder John Schnatter as a spokesman in logos and TV ads, has begun pulling his image from its marketing and pledged to assess its diversity practices in response to his use of a racial slur.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, for God's sakes.
Wasn't that what the fucking meeting was for in the first place?
Yes.
It was
Yes, it
used
was.
as an example in an abstract conversation about such things. It wasn't directed at anybody, but
Yeah, it was.
apparently-
This is the kind of thing we shouldn't say.
Yes, the kind of thing we should watch out for and not say yada yada yada.
So they're gonna have, I'm assuming, a list of things that shouldn't be said and everything or whatever. But like, are they just gonna be like a bunch of like words that are like lines and spaces? It's just like, oh, we can't see or say these words. Just know that they're bad. There's no way of us letting you know exactly which ones. Just know that they're bad. This one has 6 dashes. I'm sure you can imagine what that is.
Well, the takeaway from this is that the advisors who worked for Starbucks recently have more work to do.
Yeah, no shit.
Let's see. Here's another one from, and I forgot to do the promo. Senior staff reporter and chief Florida correspondent Colleen Bernier. Blockbuster Videos last 2 Alaska stores to close, leaving a lone Oregon outlet.
I didn't know they had any left.
Yeah, there were 3 remaining franchise locations. The Alaska ones did well because internet is either scarce and or expensive up there, so people still went to the video store, and they had a very loyal following because they were so unique. But now there's only going to be 1 actual brick and mortar Blockbusters left in, I think it's Bend, Oregon, was it? The final Blockbuster video stores in Anchorage and Fairbanks are closing their rental business on Monday, July 16th, but will reopen on Tuesday through the end of August to sell off their inventory. That leaves a lone Blockbuster in Bend, Oregon, as the last man standing in a video chain that, at its peak, had more than 9,000 stores, half outside the U.S., and employed more than 84,000 people worldwide. Blockbuster founder Wayne Huizenga died in March. Talk show host John Oliver tried to help the struggling Alaska stores in April, sending a number of Russell Crowe items to one of the 2 Anchorage stores. Oliver purchased the items from a Crowe divorce auction, including a leather jockstrap Crowe wore in Cinderella Man, a hood from Robin Hood, and a vest from Les Miserables. While the stunt caused a flurry of attention, it was not enough. The Blockbuster company filed for bankruptcy in 2010, and most of its stores shuttered soon after. But Alaska has been something of a diehard for the chain, okay, with stores in Wasilla, North Pole, and Soldanta finally closing earlier this year, along with another Anchorage location. So there you go, the almost last gasp of Blockbuster. Thank you, Diesel Dave. Who cares? It's shit pizza anyway. I don't think I've ever had Papa John's.
I've had it once, and it was not good.
Yeah,
I'm not a fan, but
I did have, for the first time in a long time last week, Little Caesars. And it was pretty good.
I like Little Caesars.
Little Caesars is good if you literally eat it at the counter when they hand it to you.
Yeah, it's got to be hot.
It's got to be hot. Yeah, but actually, I kind of liked it better than Domino's. I kind of liked it better. It had a better flavor. Moving on. Why is that me? No, that's not me. Oh, this. Okay, so this is something that I posted to MSS News, but I got to read this because while the story's horrible, I'm glad that this person is getting punished. That's why I'm going to read this story. Houston woman sentenced for trying to sell daughter for sex.
Oh, this chick. Fuck that bitch.
A Houston woman accused of offering to sell her 2-year-old daughter for sex at a cost of $1,200 has been sentenced to 40 years in prison. Personally, I think she should be sentenced to 40 years in the electric chair, but that's just me.
Yeah.
25-year-old Sarah Marie Peters was sentenced Thursday after pleading guilty to charges that include promotion of prostitution. Authorities say undercover officers in Montgomery County, north of Houston, encountered Peters online on a social media site. Good God. They say she forwarded photos of young girls and asked if there was anyone who wanted, quote, to have fun with her daughter. Detectives watched Peters board a bus in Houston with her daughter to travel to Conroe, where she thought she was meeting a man who would pay for sex with the toddler. She was arrested February 22nd. Her daughter is in the custody of State Child Protective Services. And, God damn it. Fucking monster.
You know what? This child is fucked for life now. That was her mother who tried to do that to her, and fuck that bitch.
I hope she ends up with a very loving, caring, gentle family. Because, goddamn. Okay, we'll do a couple more. Captain Brambles also sent that story. Okay, thank you. Sure, this one comes from Jack the motherfucking Cockring. Can't be a Lords of the Night without a Florida man story. Florida man claims he only drank at stoplights and not while driving. That's brilliant. A Florida man has had an explanation ready when investigators accused him of drinking while driving. He explained that he was downing gulps of bourbon only when stopped at traffic signals and stop signs. Despite
you don't
his
get drunk if you do that.
It's true. And actually, if you're not drinking while the car's in motion, it's totes legal, yo. Despite his explanation, Earl Gustavus Stevens Jr., 69, was arrested on a DUI charge following the June 27th incident in Vero Beach, according to an arrest report filed by the Indian River County Sheriff's Office. According to the arrest report, Stevens took pain medication at noon and started, quote, actively drinking at 2 p.m. He drove his Mercury Grand Marquis approximately 30 miles from Port St. Lucie to Vero Beach, and at 5:28 p.m. was in a McDonald's drive-thru, bumping the car in front of him. Stevens told deputies that he has never had a valid driver's license with... When authorities noticed an open bottle of Jim Beam in a brown paper bag, Stevens allegedly said he, quote, felt pretty good. Stevens further explained that he was not drinking while the car was moving and only when he stopped for stop signs and traffic signals. He failed his field sobriety test.
I'm shocked.
His blood alcohol level. Okay, now you know what the legal limit of blood alcohol generally is. It's 0.08, right?
0.08, yeah.
His blood alcohol level, you want to take any guesses?
0.12.
Nope. 0.153.
Jesus.
Thank you, Diesel Dave. Should be 40 years in a male prison. On Twitter I said she should be fed to a wood chipper toes first for 4 years or something, but man. Anyway, disappear from forever, that lady. We'll do one more and then we'll go on to YouTube time. Let me find something good here.
I do want to say with that last story, though, I mean, at least he was stopping for stop signs.
Yeah, there's that. One more from Canada. Why not? This comes from Mashisu. It's not really a story. It's just sort of a headline capsule. Moose escapes from zoo and goes on a cow raping rampage.
A moose was raping cows. Does Me Too know?
I'm wondering if this might not be a joke article. I don't actually have the source of it. I just have the image.
Oh, gotcha.
So it might be a complete joke. The photo they have attached could be legit. Actually, you know what? That looks completely photoshopped. This is probably fake. I'll read it anyway. Calgary. A moose that has escaped from the Calgary Zoo is wreaking havoc on local farms in the area as the 2,000-pound beast has allegedly been sexually assaulting a large number of cows. Yeah, the looks on the cow and moose's faces in the photo, that does not happen in nature. So that's
do they look really happy?
The cow looks shocked, and the moose has got a smile on his face. So yeah.
Well, I bet he does.
Oh yeah,
tapping that cow ass.
Moo moo. All right. Well, guys, thank you so much for the stories. I almost read something from McDonald's because, of course, in a hashtag search, I get promoted tweets.
Cool.
Because why not? Thank you for the stories. If we find ourselves short on things to talk about later on, we'll go back. But for the time being, Colin Renier says it was on World Daily News. Yes.
Oh, there you go.
There you go. So on to YouTube time. Satsu, what have you been up to today?
I uploaded the video of me and Squishy playing The Walking Dead, and uploaded some of my other videos. Did some editing to split up the newer videos that we've recorded, and got that done. I'm still gonna have to do some audio tweaks because the hum in the background is gone, which is good. But now there's like a muffled sound in the background because I believe I might have had the filter up a little too high, so it's actually cutting out too much sound and making it's giving me this weird feedback. So I gotta mess with that a little bit. I'll get it right eventually, guys. And the video I was going to do today on my main channel was about fucking what's his face, Superman dude. And then some new information came out or whatever. So that's gonna be up tomorrow.
All right.
Yeah.
I didn't have a chance to work on anything today because of work stuff and everything. I did find a couple of videos that I set aside to give a deeper look at over the weekend. So I might have something out this weekend or early next week. We'll see. Monkey.
Grand Monkey was digging around upstairs today, and she found her mom's old High School Musical microphone.
Uh-oh.
Which actually turns out to be a pretty good USB mic, believe it or not. But I tried plugging it in and everything upstairs, and I couldn't get it because what she really wanted to do is hear herself.
Yes.
I thought, you know what? I know how to do this. So I set her up on a stream. And there's a 5-minute stream. And you guys are fucking awesome because here, by the end of the stream, 40 people had tuned in to watch this. Last time I checked, over 340 people had watched it. So go check it out. It's cute. But that's all I did today. Yeah, and thank you guys for supporting Grand Monkey. She actually rewatched the stream and we talked about how people were saying hi to her. She liked it.
Yeah, I missed it by like 10 minutes because I was doing work stuff, and by the time I noticed, it was already over with. And I wanted to come on in the chat and say hi, Grand Monkey.
In other words, Grand Monkey got a video out before Monkey did.
No,
you can fuck off, dude. You ass. But you're not wrong. You're not wrong.
Okay, so internet fuckatry time. Boy, oh boy. Well, this isn't so much fuckatry, I guess, but that tweet I put out about the Henry Cavill apology.
Yes.
Just to toot my own horn, I suppose, for a moment. That has been, of every tweet I have ever tweeted, that has been the most shared and liked thing I have ever put onto the Twitter machine.
Nice.
I think it's probably in part due, all credit, where credit is due, to Mundane Matt initially retweeting it, because God knows he's got a bigger following than I do. Yeah, I was just sort of like, wow, this is crazy. I've never had this many notifications of people like sharing my stuff. I was like, oh boy. So yeah, it was kind of gratifying. So that's not fuckatry per se, but that was internet stuff for me today. What about you guys?
Well, I saw a bit of fuckatry today, and oddly enough, you brought up Matt.
Oh yes, I saw that.
I'm not going to talk about our argument. It was the most of what we covered earlier on the Russian hacking stuff. So if you guys want to read it, go do that. What I do want to say, and I want to make sure this is clear. I still like Matt. Me and him disagree on politics. We always have. He is far more left than I am. He seems to absolutely hate Donald Trump, which I'm more what's the word?
Tolerant.
Yeah, I guess tolerant. I was leaning towards apathetic, but that's not tolerant's probably a good word.
Yeah.
But just because me and him are arguing is not a chance for any of my followers to jump in and talk about what a shitbag Matt is. If you believe that, you go have that argument on your own. Me and him having a disagreement about politics, that's all it is. And I don't hate Matt because he disagrees with me about shit any more than I hate anyone else for disagreeing with me about shit. If you want to, add something intelligent, by all means. Or how can I say this? You're free to do whatever the fuck you want, but if you're looking for my approval, that's not going to get it. What other? I know I saw a bunch of fuckatry when I finally got on the Twitter machine today.
Well, part of the stuff that I saw and relates at least tangentially to the protests going on in Britain and London today.
Oh God!
And
with their Donald Trump balloon.
With their Donald Trump balloon. Now, this had been touted for days as this big statement. This honestly, because I didn't pay that close attention to it before today. I honestly thought it was going to be Macy's Day Parade level shit.
Yeah, yeah.
No, it's about neighborhood carnival level shit.
Yeah.
It was a
Bad
balloon.
neighborhood carnival.
Yeah, it was a balloon that was maybe 6 feet long, if that, and was just suspended about 10 feet up in the air.
Yeah.
Probably less than 6 feet, honestly. It was pathetic. But the fucketry part of it was Count Dankula basically live tweeting from the center of the storm, apparently, with people coming up to him threatening, or either tweeting him or coming up to him in person, threatening to beat him up or kick his dog, which is just like, God damn it.
Yeah.
Anyway, so that happened.
Yeah. Well, I saw some people beating up a little model that they made of Donald Trump, and they put it on this little stick, and people were walking past and punching it, and the caption was, "How will Trump recover from this?" I'm just like, Trump is nowhere near you guys. Like, he's not paying any attention to any of you. You all came out there and made a big ass stink. He came and did what he came to do, and then left. Yeah. And that was it. I hope you guys feel good about yourselves.
It's nothing to do with saying people shouldn't protest or speak their minds or anything else, but things like this, I just go like, you could use your time more productively. Honestly, that's not going to do anything. He's not going to see you. He's not going to interact with you. It's not going to affect anything. You want to voice your displeasure, fine. But
actually, yeah, it's even worse than that, because what you're doing is you're feeding him, because he's going to see this balloon and mock you for how pathetic it was.
Yeah, that too. Yeah.
Did you guys see the Piers Morgan interview that went kind of viral?
I remember seeing something about Piers Morgan in the last couple of days, but I wasn't paying close attention.
One of the women who's part of this march was going on this march because of what's happening at the Mexican border. Swear to God, that's her reasoning.
Okay.
And Piers Morgan goes, "Well, you do understand this was happening under Obama, right?" And she's like, well, yeah. And he goes, "Well, why weren't you marching then?"
And
I didn't watch the whole interview, because I stopped in the next moments when his co-host actually says, "Well, you don't have to march for everything."
You do have to march for everything.
Well, it's true. You don't have to march for everything. It's true. She's not lying.
She's not. But if what you're upset about is that the kids, the real answer is, I didn't fucking know, because nobody gave a shit at the time.
Yeah,
that's the real answer, and that's all you have to say.
Yes. And even if they did know, I wouldn't have cared, because that man was brown. So
yes, fair point.
Oh man.
The other fucketry I saw was actually just before airtime, and we discussed this a little bit just before airtime, but I think it's worth discussing on air. It's a tweet from a trans woman who wrote, "Nobody teaches trans girls about our periods.
Oh yeah.
We just get these weird times where we're moody and crampy and sad, and we don't know why, and just chalk it up to another reason we're not good enough in life. So just so you all know, trans girls get periods." No, you don't. No, you don't. No. Those periods, even granting dysphoria, which I do grant, that is an issue in the brain where you don't feel like you're in the right body. What it does not do is give you an imaginary uterus, which is where, by the way, period cramps come from.
You know what's the worst part about this, probably?
What's that?
Is they're probably talking about constipation.
No, bloody diarrhea. Wait, how?
Oh boy.
We've discussed this briefly before, but it is amazing to me how many people will flat out ignore science. And Satsu, you had an interaction with your favorite guy recently about this discussion.
Yeah, and so I don't know if I told you guys this, but there's somebody who was going back and forth with me on Twitter, and he was really just being a fucking idiot. And I was getting sick of his shit. But somebody had said kind of an off the cuff like, dude, you're actually pretty fun. You know, I might add you as a friend. And I'm like, feel free to. I'm always down to debate people or whatever. And the one dude actually did. And I was like, oh, okay, well, cool, whatever. That's fine. This motherfucker has been getting on my fucking nerves for like 3 days now. Because I think something's wrong with him. One of the exchanges we had about this, and I'm still trying to process it. My statement was, when the person said trans girls get periods, I said, and trans boys will need prostate exams. And he said, I think she means teenagers. And that immediately confused me because I was like, that would still be incorrect. And they said, I think comparing prostate exams to periods doesn't make sense. And I said, well, only females have periods. Only males have prostate exams. So transitioning does not make you magically attain one or the other. And he said, that's not what I meant.
Yeah, you told us that before stream, and it is still broken my brain because I don't. Did he ever answer what he did mean?
Apparently he did. So he said, that's not what I meant. And I said, do I dare ask what you actually meant? And he said, I meant that it's not comparable to a prostate exam. Something that a 40-year-old man starts getting to a period, something girls get during age 12, which is also irrelevant because in your statement, you said something that a 40-year-old man gets and something that girls get during 12, neither of which we are speaking about, good sir. Yeah, what the fuck is wrong with you?
Even dysphoria doesn't change biology. And that is not a slam against trans people. It's not. It's just biology.
It's literally fact. If it's not, then let me know when you're ready to go get your prostate exam. Or let me know what kind of tampons you buy for your period when you bleed every month. Let me see the receipts.
I get cramps. I feel like you're not being supportive enough.
I just don't get it. I'm just like, okay. All right. Are you gonna join the free bleeding campaign? Is that what
Jim
this
said?
is?
Actually, my doctor said prostate exams start at 50 now. Thank God. I've had a prostate exam. It was not fun.
I've got 11 years to go then.
It's so clinical. It is the weirdest experience of your life. You go to a doctor and pay them to stick their finger up your hiney. Mm-hmm. And you have to pretend that this is just a normal thing, and it's not. We all know it's not. Trans women go through menopause about the same time as they need prostate exams. Yeah.
Well, do we have any other fucketry, or shall we move on to a deep topic?
Going through my timeline, that's the only thing that really jumped out at me because there's always fucketry, but man.
Oh wait, the video of the Antifa people calling that black cop a nigger.
Oh yes. And remember, guys, he can say that he is the black guy on the show. The people who are out there to stop racism, isn't that part of their thing? They're fighting the alt-right because the alt-right is racist.
Yeah, they're celebrating people losing their job, saying it in a bad context, by the way, or any context whatsoever. But it's okay to just blatantly say that to a black person just because they're on an opposing side. I mean, obviously, they called everybody there a bunch of shit.
Well, he wasn't an opposing side. He was a police officer. He wasn't even involved. He was just there to make sure that nothing crazy happened.
Well, they're police, so they're an opposing side.
Yeah.
True. Yeah, there you go.
Well, I suppose so. If that's it.
Yeah, because they fucking hate police. Because they're a part of the depolicing America. Because we don't need police. We just let the people take care of it.
That does tangentially relate to something else I did want to bring up just briefly, and then we can move on if you'd like. Sorry, I saw a guy post just randomly. He wasn't actually talking to anybody, but his tweet was, "What constitution should we return to?"
Articles of Confederation.
Well, he starts going, do you mean the original one where blacks weren't real people and blah blah blah? And it occurred to me, the only people I've ever heard make those comments, the only ones who ever take, we should go back to the Constitution, all the way back to blacks being 3/5 of a person, are liberals who don't seem to want to go back to it, who They will wrap themselves in the freedom of assembly, but everything else, fuck all that shit. And when that hit me, that just amused me. It's like, you guys are the only people who seem to think that that's what anybody wants. Do you want a Negro?
Well, that's the
very racist. I mean, Satsu, have you been called? I know you have. The very Uncle Tom and.
Oh yeah. Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, and one of the things that I said before when I was talking to somebody about this yesterday on Facebook is I hear a lot about what evil white people and alt-righters do all the time. Rarely see it, but I constantly see y'all doing really fucked up shit. Like, I physically see that on the regular basis. Like, all the racist shit that you accuse your enemies of or whatever, I see y'all doing that daily. But I constantly hear, and only hear for the most part, about it happening on this side.
Yeah.
Like, that's a little strange to me. Seems a little odd.
Is the word that I would use. Yes. It's amazing how that works.
Like, you pointing the finger at, so-and-so over there who is doing this horrible thing as I'm watching you do it. And now you're just like, you should believe me because I said that person is horrible and they believe these things. I'm like, you're punching a dude in the face right now. You're telling me what they believe, and I'm supposed to be like, fuck that guy. And you're stomping a dude in the ground as we speak. Like, what the fuck?
They're all racist. As you're screaming, you're the white man's... can I say the word? Anyhow, yeah, I get you. Anyway.
Yeah, they did say that the white man's name.
You are the white man's nigger is what they said. That is
I was just like, what?
Oh, I just lost my job at Papa John's.
Oh, man. No more nasty ass pizza making for you.
I know.
There goes my monetization.
They don't know I'm white.
Yeah, monkey sounds relatively black.
Relatively.
Relatively.
Well, with all of that being wonderfully said, there was a op-ed that was posted, I think, was it just yesterday? Yeah, it was just yesterday, that caught my eye. Didn't have a chance to talk about it last night, but I wanted to bring it up briefly because it refers to our favorite topic of freedom of speech and comedy. Monkey, you probably will remember this easier than Satsu. You remember Elaine Boozler?
Oh God, that name is so familiar.
Yeah, she's a comedian. She was. Let's see. God, was she?
I have to look her up so I can see who she is because that is very familiar.
ELAYNEBOOSLER. She's a very familiar name to me from like the 80s and so on. I think she was, for some reason, I thought she was on SNL, but I don't know if that's actually true or not. Either way, she has put out a op-ed titled "Saying Joke is No Excuse for Offensive Behavior."
Fuck off.
Comedy.
Oh, yeah, I know her. Okay, yeah. Okay, sorry.
Comedy is now the fall guy. Every time someone gets busted for a horrific statement, he or she suddenly announces it was a joke. No, you are not going to cloud up our art form with your ill-conceived oral feculence. My gifted comic pals and I work way too hard on crafting humor to allow you to come along and claim your unlicensed, misfiring, sawed-off shotgun is actually a sharpened blade that cuts to the truth to illuminate understanding and brings out our shared humanity through laughter. Unlicensed. Do you live in Britain? Unlicensed. Hey. We now live in a political environment of such stunningly unbelievable rhetoric, we're constantly thinking, you've got to be kidding. Yet the audience always knows, so if you're going to speak or tweet and fall back on comedy as a get-out-of-jail-free card, you probably won't get out of jail. An alt-right activist said recently that people should start shooting journalists. Oh, for fuck's sake.
That is not what he said,
That's
you stupid
not
twat.
what he said. When he was widely criticized in the wake of the Capital Gazette newspaper shooting in Annapolis, Maryland.
You are a comedian, so I know you know what George Carlin said, you stupid bitch.
Mm-hmm.
And he said that publicly. You didn't write any goddamn op-ed. Oh, God. I'm sorry.
When he was widely criticized in the wake of the Capital Gazette newspaper shooting in Annapolis, you don't even have the guts to actually name the person that you're going to be. Okay, all right. He claimed his critics were taking his joke as a threat, but that's not what happened. No one took a joke to be a threat. They took a threat to be a threat. They saw it exactly for what it was. A polemicist speaking without a punchline. Jokes are clearly jokes. When Henny Youngman said, "Take my wife, please," no one came and took his wife.
Wait a minute. Okay.
That's the argument.
Hold the fuck up. So basically, what she is saying right now is no matter what you say, as long as any human being carries that action out anywhere near you, then it wasn't a joke. You actively incited that.
No, she's accusing Milo of having given this guy leave to shoot up the place when the guy had a beef with that newspaper for the last 10 fucking years.
Yeah, but basically she said, like, because the thing was, when he said, "Take my wife," nobody came and took his wife. But if somebody did, then it wouldn't have been a joke.
That was Henny Youngman's fault. Yeah. Thank you, Diesel Dave. She's talking about Milo. Yeah, we know.
Yes,
We're making fun of her for just being a coward and not actually talking about who she's trying to malign.
If you could please send me that article.
Monkey, you're going to do a video on this, Monkey.
We'll see.
Okay, I'm going to be Serpentor for a second. This I command! Monkey.
No.
You remember Serpentor?
Yes.
Okay, Serpentor didn't take any bullshit. So there you go. I've tweeted it to you.
Does she have like stand up and shit on
she's been around for a long time. She's been around since
she was her big days were in the 80s.
Okay, well, somebody needs to go find her saying literally anything that sounds like it's inciting anything. Shush. And do it.
Don't give away Monkey's structure. He's gonna do that in his video. Shush. Jokes have a structure. Many of these self-proclaimed comedians, all comedians are self-proclaimed, just so you know, are just stating a sentence. And above all, a joke has to be funny. No, it doesn't.
No, it doesn't. Are you fucking...
Good God. Elaine Boozler. I mean, seriously, you're a veteran. You're a veteran of the industry. Okay. If she was some starry-eyed novice, it would make more sense for her to be saying this kind of stuff. But she's old school, around old school people forever.
But you know how pretentious this is? She's basically saying that everything she has ever uttered has been funny.
Yeah.
Like she's never told a joke that isn't funny and didn't hit the mark.
She has a license, and nothing she's ever said has at all related 24 hours later to something somebody did, etc.
Let's deal with that for a minute. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Because I've seen this starting to pop up here and there. The idea of you can't make jokes unless you're a professional comedian.
No, where's my card?
Yes, you can.
Yeah.
People have been doing it for a long fucking time, and just because you're a professional comedian doesn't mean you get to hold yourself above rules that you think I need to follow.
Man, I actually know a comedian personally, and I'm gonna send him this article because he needs to fucking. I want to hear him do some stand up on that.
Yeah, I mean, Monkey is a living joke. He doesn't have a license.
That is true. You bitch.
I am not female. Wait, I guess it doesn't. I could be. Was that a joke? Sorry. Go on.
Are you female today?
Wait 5 minutes.
Can your gender fluidness change that quickly? Like, could you?
Yes, because gender is a social construct. By the definitions that have been laid to me, without doing anything, without making any physical changes to my appearance, whether it be cosmetic or simply attire or nothing else, I can just declare myself male, female, non-binary, gender fluid, wolfkin. Just on a whim.
Does Elaine Boozler have a fucking Twitter?
I don't know.
Now that I think about it,
she might have a regular Twitter. I don't know about a fucking Twitter.
Scribe, I hate you.
Moving on. Well, I made a joke. It wasn't a good joke. But it was a joke. Oh, but I don't have a license.
Oh, she does. Oh,
here comes the comedy, please. Okay. When Henny Youngman said, "Take my wife, please," no one came and took his wife. Jokes have a structure. No, they don't necessarily. You can have a one-word joke if in context it's funny. Many of these self-proclaimed comedians are just stating a sentence. Okay, and above all, a joke has to be funny. The more controversial or edgy it is, the funnier it has to be. What? What? How do you measure that? By what metric do you measure funny in relation to controversial or edgy, Elaine Boozler?
But hold on. If it's controversial or edgy, by default, that is going to be offensive to someone somewhere.
Well, here's the
period.
thing. Here's the thing. In relative terms, I have to assume. So if I go to a church service and I talk about tongue-buttering turtle caves, that shit had better be Robin Williams level hilarious to overcome how edgy and controversial it would have to be inside a church, right? Yeah. Because if I said that to an audience down at some drunken hole in the wall, it doesn't have to be that funny because the audience is different. Is that how I'm to understand this?
Well, it seems like the context is completely irrelevant.
I'm so pissed off.
Okay, let's
You are a fucking comedian and you are arguing that jokes aren't jokes. Okay. What the fuck is wrong with you?
All right, I've been delaying on this too much. Let me get through this so we can get through it. Jumping down a little bit. Roseanne's racist tweet. Well, even professional comedians can miss the mark. Well, wait a second. You just said that people who make jokes have to be licensed. Okay. In that case, they get to claim it was a joke in the same way that a baseball player can say he batted today, even though he went 0 for 4. The only people who should be tweeting anything about apes are Diane Fossey and Jane Goodall, and Diane Fossey's dead. Was that meant to be funny? Yep. Comics don't get a pass. You make enough money and have had enough practice at comedy to write jokes that are smart funny, silly funny. Those are all one word. She's saying smart funny and silly funny are one word. Or both. Leading with hatred and prejudice doesn't often lead to landing a punchline.
Say that to every fucking comedian of color that has ever walked on a stage, ever.
Listen to Richard Pryor, Elaine Boozler. Go listen to Richard Pryor for 10 minutes. Pick anything he has ever recorded, and listen to 10 minutes of his material. And tell me that he is somehow illegitimized as a comedian or somehow has to burn in the pits of comedy hell because he was edgy or controversial or said something that, conjured hatred or prejudice through his words or vocabulary. For fuck's sake, I honestly, I cannot honestly believe I'm reading this from some, like I said, if this was some wide-eyed, new to the industry comic trying to make a virtue signal, this would make more sense to me. But good Christ. Okay, I'm interrupting myself now. You can impart so much more smart, subversive humor when people are actually listening to you and not on. Hold on. You can impart. Let me back up. I think I missed a paragraph.
That's a weird word to use.
Let me back up. What's the point of speaking if a wall goes up before you can be heard? Comedy's only tool is language. A message gets so much further across our current social divide when people are not recoiling from a motherfucker dick cock barrage. I'm assuming that's what she said because there's stars breaking it up. That automatically shuts them down. Hey, tell every female comedian to stop talking about their vagina. Please, because every time they bring that up, it completely shuts me down. It puts a wall up and I don't want to listen to them anymore. Could you do that for me? Because that's really offensive. And it really gets on my nerves, and it's edgy. They're trying to be edgy. You'll tell Amy Schumer to just give up her entire act because by the standards you're laying out here, she and Brett Butler and Sarah Silverman and Samantha Bee and Roseanne back in the day. Michelle Wolf. All these people need to just close their doors and go away.
Or just wash their damn vaginas.
The only people who should be doing comedy are Larry the Cable Guy and Jeff Foxworthy. That's it. You can impart so much more smart, subversive humor when people are actually listening to you and not on the defense. We have all the words in the world on our palates. Why paint with only 3 or 4 colors? Again, no more vagina jokes. Okay, I'm just saying.
She is discounting. Look, there are different kinds of comedy. You have your blue comics, but then you have somebody like, oh shit, what's his name? King Baby, Gaffigan.
Yeah.
Who doesn't make jokes like that at all. He makes jokes about fucking foods and shit. She's fuck this bitch. Fuck her. Sorry.
Parentheses, note, comedy geniuses, living or dead, are exempt from this rule because they know how to paint. Comedy genius. Who do you consider to be a genius, Elaine?
I bet Amy Schumer.
It literally can't be anyone famous. It has to be somebody that nobody knows who she considers a genius, because all of them are like, have said some crazy outlandish shit.
Okay. If Louis C.K. had asked me to watch him masturbate, I'd have said, dude, I don't even watch your show, unquote. Was that supposed to be funny?
I think that was a joke.
Oh, was that? I don't think you can get away with that by saying it's a joke, because I wasn't laughing. Then there's last month's hilarious incident when comedian John Melendez, a.k.a. Stuttering John, called the White House pretending to be a U.S. senator, asking to be connected to the president. Shortly afterward, John got a call back and was on the phone with the president. Talk about using comedy for good. What? Aside from the laughter, a comic pointed up the dangerous vulnerability to our country when a president thinks he doesn't need experts on staff because he knows everything.
Where's the connection there? Somebody pretended to be...
Talk about using comedy for good. Well, he used deception for a laugh. I don't know what you quite mean by that. Punking somebody, I suppose.
Well, now Trump knows not to take any calls from senators.
Yeah, or to screen his calls, I guess. Our ambassadors are gone. Our statesmen are gone. The smartest kids in the room are gone. And the country is vulnerable to any and all interference from those who would hack our democracy. One great comedy bit exposed the ongoing danger. Pretty good for a joke. What?
What the fuck are you talking about? He took a phone call. We're not talking about him giving away fucking military secrets.
I haven't seen the new Sacha Baron Cohen show yet, so I can't comment on it. Why not?
But you're going to.
Wait, why not? I can say only if he is bringing reprehensible politicians back into our living rooms, I hope it's really, really funny. And remember, when a comic dupes a politician, only the politician suffers. When politicians dupe the public, well, you know. When politicians dupe the public, well, you know. Okay, well, golly. Wasn't the governor of West Virginia that just got basically pushed out of office because he was lying?
Can you drop this into the either the Hangout or the chat?
Yeah, yeah, when politicians lie, they never get into trouble. I'll remember that. I'll remember that when politicians lie, do anything underhanded, they never get into trouble. They never have any consequences happen to them. Okay. Vile statements are not jokes. They're vile statements. You can't call them jokes any more than you can call vomiting recycling. Besides, the hallmark of a true joke. Oh boy, here we go. Okay, guys, this is the secret. This is like Colonel Sanders' recipe in the vault here, okay? The hallmark of a true joke is that after you say it, you never have to say it was a joke.
No, because, for fuck's sake, no. Fuck you. One,
does that...
Okay, technically, I'm a comedian now. People pay me to hear me say funny shit. So I feel like I can comment on this. You are a dumb cunt, lady.
Thank you, Adam Mangold. You might be a redneck if these are the only jokes you can do.
That's not fair. Jeff actually makes a lot of good jokes.
Jeff Foxworthy's, yeah, he's a good entertainer. I'm not gigantic fan of everything.
No, I got what you were saying.
Yeah, he's fine.
So apparently, she resides in a world where everything that she says is funny, and no matter what, if it's a joke, every single person in the room will not get offended. Like nobody in the room has ever gotten offended by anything she has ever said.
Yes.
Because she's never had to verify that anything was a joke to anyone ever. Because
She's
they
never
were
had to
all
say, yeah, that's a
100% accepting of what she said and accepted it as a joke.
Yeah,
I accept that she's full of shit.
find one instance where she explained to someone that it was a joke. And her entire world falls apart if she ever had to try to clarify to somebody who misunderstood her or took her seriously or got offended, and she had to respond with it was a joke. Just
well, in
find
her world, apparently that doesn't happen. People don't misunderstand. Like
Yeah.
that's not a thing. You just everybody knows you're telling a joke when you're telling it at all times,
and they're
Okay.
always funny.
All right, let me finish it up, and then we'll go to chat time. Haters, polemicists, politicians, rabble-rousers, lazy comics, panderers, stop throwing the craft of comedy under the bus as a Hail Mary pass when you're busted for uncivil discourse. No one's buying it. Leave jokes alone and donate a pint of blood and say thanks to our free press. Je suis Charlie, je suis Annapolis.
Did the white girl just tell us about civility? Doesn't she know?
Thank you, Diesel Dave. This bitch is hurting my brain. I hadn't thought at all of Elaine Boozler for 20 years until I saw this, and now I'm like, what rock have you been living under? I mean, what kind of... I think there's a reason why I haven't heard about you for 20, 25 years, is because you're not funny.
Can she find that fucking rock and go back under it?
Anyway, guys, it is the bottom of the hour, last half hour of the show. It is your time. If you have questions, comments, complaints, conspiracy theories, rhubarb recipes, I don't know, put them in the chat.
Irritates me so much.
Good. Now use
your anger, Darth Monkey.
Comedy helped me get through some really rough points in my life. Just sitting back and watching comedians tell jokes and laugh. And they ran the gamut from, clean stuff, dad jokes to, oh my God, I can't believe somebody said that out loud. And the only thing that matters is that it made me laugh. These fucking people, oh my God. Well, arguing that comedy actually has some kind of boundary. Go fuck yourself.
Another thing that I saw, another comedian, he would make people laugh by saying things that weren't actually jokes, and people would laugh at it anyway. Because like he was like super deeply depressed, just like really fucked up. And he would say like
Wright.
Really,
Stephen Wright does that. I don't know if it's the same one.
Yeah, and it was like really horrible. He was just like, sometimes when I try to sleep at night, I wake up from like night terrors, and it makes me it brings me closer to committing suicide every day. And people started laughing, and he just sat there and stared at them.
Yeah, that sounds like Stephen Wright style comedy. Yeah, it's the delivery.
Yeah.
So, sometimes you don't need to actually say anything substantive, Irate Bear, to be funny. It's just about the delivery. It's just about the atmosphere that you put out there. Like Henny.
I'm sorry. I lost this thought earlier. I want to grab it. She said that all comics have is their words, and that is not true. Facial expressions, even props. Fuck yeah.
You ever see Tape Face on like a?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So there's this. I think it was on.
America's Got Talent.
America's Got Talent. Yeah. There's a comedian, and he's not the only one that does stuff like this. There are mime comics and things, but there's this guy named Tape Face. He's got tape over his mouth. He doesn't say a word during his entire act. Everything is just physical comedy. It's like some magic trick type stuff, and it's funny as fuck. He doesn't have to say anything. Comedy, clowning, for fuck's sake. Clowning didn't have any talking. It was some guy in the middle of a circle in a giant arena having to express physical comedy to an audience above music and everything else without having to say anything. Like poetry, define poetry, define comedy. Fuck you. Ragnak Ulfbert. A guy tripping balls is smile, laugh, okay, and who knows what he's saying, LOL. I know that's supposed to mean something. I'm supposed to decipher that, but I obviously don't know. Anyway, let's see. Sorry, guys. Yeah, if you have questions for us, put plenty of question marks after, and we will get to them as we see them if we can. Ebony Williams, Scribe, what's your favorite food? Like a single thing? Wait, you asked me this last night, didn't you? You're gonna cook me my favorite meal or something. You don't happen to have like an empty well in your basement with a bottle of lotion handy, right? That was a Silence of the Lambs joke. Oh wait, I had to. Oh shit! I had to explain it was a joke. Oh no!
You fucked up.
Let's see. What's your favorite fruit? Satsu monkey. My favorite fruit, probably. I'm gonna say strawberries.
Right now, my favorite is fresh cherries. I don't like them in a jar or anything, but a fresh cherry is so good.
I like peaches.
Millions of peaches. Peaches for me. Dark Allow says, so Charlie Chaplin and the other silent comedy stars weren't funny? No, Buster Keaton was a fucking idiot. Fuck that guy. I'm kidding. And Charlie Chaplin wasn't silent the whole time. He did speak eventually in The Great Dictator. So.
Oh, Terry Diamandis. Well, yeah, we didn't cover that story. I don't even know how true it is. Whether Kylie was. So how much did you donate to help Kylie Jenner become a billionaire? There was some argument about whether she's a self-made billionaire.
Right, but self-made billionaire, yeah.
She's not. She got a really lucky break when her sister turned out to be a whore.
Yeah.
But I don't down her for it. Good luck to her. But yeah, the idea that she needs a GoFundMe to get over the $1 billion. Go fuck off.
Oh,
fuck yourself.
I didn't know she had a fundraiser.
Well, did she do that, or did somebody else did it?
Yeah, I think somebody else was doing that because that's what people do now.
Ebony says, "I got the joke, and there is no well. Oh, but there's lotion. All right,
there's lots of lotion.
Duck Dog, the yellow and red striped ones. What, peaches or the cherries? Are there striped cherries? I don't know. I like
just regular red cherries. Living here in Michigan, I don't know if you guys know this, but we are the cherry capital of the world, y'all.
Oh, all the virgins go to Michigan.
It's why Mexicans end up here, and I'm not being mean. You get the migrant farm workers coming through all the time, and the first time I saw it, I was like really weirded out because we are in the middle of fucking nowhere. But the highway that's by us leads right up to where all of the cherry groves are. And I was in McDonald's once, and there was just this whole family of obviously non-English speaking. And I'm not saying they were illegal. I'm positive they were legal. But it's like, why in the hell are so many Mexicans this far north? Because I tend to think Mexicans are smarter than that, and they stay in warmer climates. Only white people go to where it's really fucking cold. And somebody explained to me, no, it's the cherry thing. I'm like, oh, okay. So yeah, every fall you see a whole bunch of Mexicans, and then I get my lovely cherries. So I love Mexicans.
Jack Gunsky says, Buster Keaton did speak in A Funny Thing Happened on the Way to the Forum. My favorite Buster Keaton appearance was in Sunset Boulevard, and he didn't speak there either, but that's fine. Thank you, Diesel Dave. Joe Rogan Triggered is hilarious. No, it's not, Diesel Dave, because it's controversial and edgy. And
I enjoyed that. That was a good show. If you guys haven't seen it, check it out if you like comedy.
Let's see. Wait, you can't like comedy. What the hell? Elaine Boozler says you're not allowed.
Well, you have to like the right comedy, the subversive comedy.
RJ Bansma says, do you like Jeff Dunham? He's funnier than Michelle Wolf. Okay, but definitely funnier than Michelle Wolf, but I'm not like a huge fan.
The problem with Dunham is that his act hasn't changed much since I first saw him on a Rodney Dangerfield special way back in the 80s.
Yeah.
I like his stuff, but it's except for the addition of the little terrorist puppet, his act hasn't really changed. He's funny, but once you see it one time, you don't need to see it again.
Oh, you know, one of my favorite jokes is, I forget who said this. I'm not taking credit for it, but I saw a blind guy skydive once. You ever hear a German Shepherd scream at 20,000 feet?
I want to say that was Stephen Wright.
I don't know. It's just that I remember seeing an interview or something with the guy, whoever it was, and I forget honestly, but he was actually talking about that joke, and he said that joke. I tried that joke out with like saying a dog or something, but it wasn't until I just said German Shepherd that everybody busted. Like somehow being that specific just immediately filled in the blank for everybody, and nothing else was needed to be said. It just, yeah, I love that joke.
Raz Dazzler says Patrice O'Neill. Patrice is his man. Fat comedians, would you please start taking care of yourselves so we have you longer? His
Patrice
last show was fucking amazing.
Oh, Patrice was so funny.
And you know what? You know what made Patrice funny? He did not give a fuck.
Yeah, there was this. What was that? What was that show? The Green Room. There's a series. I don't know if they do it anymore, but it was called like The Green Room. It was just all these comics sitting around just bullshitting. And if you look up Green Room and Patrice, I can't recreate it obviously, but he was just so genuine. Like there was no character there. He was just saying what he thought, and it was so genuine and hilarious. And yeah, guys, take care of yourselves. Doesn't matter who you are, if you're a comedian or otherwise. Please stick around. Just take better care of yourself.
Ragnox says Ralphie May. Yeah, it's another one we lost way too early because he was a giant fat fuck who wouldn't just lose weight. And in his case, I don't know if. I think Patrice's, if he had kids, they were older. Ralphie had some young kids.
Yeah. Mashisu says, which is better, chocolate milkshakes or chocolate malts? I like milkshakes specifically.
I am not a chocolate milkshake or malt fan. But vanilla, I prefer a malt.
Satsu.
They're both pretty damn good. Although malts, like I guess it really depends. It depends. I've had both and I like both, but sometimes I crave different ones.
This is Satsu telling us he's running for office.
That's right.
They're both good. I like them both.
Terry Diamante says Greg Giraldo was also a great comedian. God, Greg Giraldo.
Yeah.
You want to see Giraldo like at his sort of rhetorical best? Look up Greg Giraldo and Dennis Leary on YouTube, or Dennis Leary Greg Giraldo fight or something. It was this clip from this Colin Quinn show. God, I forget what it was called. It was like After Hours or Last Call or something. Anyway, they're talking about politics. I won't give it away, but Greg Giraldo just mops the floor with Leary, and Leary's doing his best to try to play Mr. Cool with these aviator sunglasses bullshit on. Oh man! And Giraldo at the Comedy Central roasts. Oh, he was so good.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, he was so good. Yeah, real life cut too short. Thank you, Diesel Dave. Bert Kirshner, the Machine. I know that name. Why do I know that name?
Terry tells us that was Tough Crowd with Colin Quinn.
Tough Crowd. That's right. Tough Crowd.
There we go.
Yeah. Let's see. Adam Mangold says, "What do you think of Steven Crowder's stand-up?"
The only time I ever saw Crowder in what might be considered stand-up, he was supposed to do it at that Milo Crowder Summers event. He was funny when he was up there. I think Crowder's funny, but I haven't seen much of it to be able to answer.
Data Wasteland says the amazing Bill Hicks. I love Bill Hicks. Monkey doesn't like Bill Hicks. I know
it's not that I don't like Bill Hicks. There are times when Bill Hicks is funny, was funny as hell.
Yeah.
And then there were other times when all he did was stand there and he went a little too Lenny Bruce, where he's just whining about the world and there's nothing funny about it. And he got this cult following because of that shit instead of his comedy.
Well, he got a cult following also because he died so young. You know, as one of those guys that like he can no longer do wrong kind of deals. If you want to see,
if you still want to see his show though, Dennis Leary does still do comedies.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Dennis Leary totally ripped off Bill Hicks. A couple of bits of Bill Hicks that I love the most. One was later in his career. I think he was doing it in Canada. I believe you just have to look up like Bill Hicks modern music, and I think you can find that one. The other one is way back when, and just look up Bill Hicks Rush Limbaugh. Oh, it is the grossest but most hilarious fucking thing.
We're getting nothing but dead comedians in chat.
Yeah, Mitch Hedberg. Yeah,
Hedberg.
I didn't really
told this story before. I bought one of his CDs because I do think Hedberg was funny.
Yeah.
But the CD came with two versions of the show. the live version and then the studio edit.
Okay.
And in the live version, he actually pulls a Jeb Bush and asks, "Please clap. This is being recorded." He actually does that because the jokes are not hitting. But when you listen to the album, man, it's like everybody's laughing at all of this shit.
Now, do you think the laughs were inserted?
I know they were because they let you listen to the live show.
All my friends in high school and stuff were all like, Mitch Hedberg is the fucking bomb. Mitch Hedberg is like the funniest guy ever. And I watched at least 2 or 3 of his shows just to see this, and it never, ever struck me as to why he was so popular. I never really got it. Like sort of the dry delivery and stuff. Yeah, kind of Stephen Wright-ish. Like
he's a poor man Stephen Wright.
He's a poor man Stephen Wright, but it never landed on me the way people described him. I mean, yeah, one or two things there kind of made me chuckle or stuff, but I never looked at him as like, oh my God, he's some kind of comic genius. I never saw it. So, all apologies to those of you who are Mitch Hedberg fanatics. It's nothing personal. I just didn't see what the big deal was.
Mash S says beef ribs or pork ribs. Pork ribs. I like beef ribs, but pork ribs better.
Yeah, I definitely prefer pork ribs over beef ribs.
Pork. Carrot Top says Data Wasteland. Only chairman of the board, because that's the greatest thing that Carrot Top ever did.
I like Carrot Top's humor. It amuses me. Some of his props, because comedians only have their words. Some of his props are fucking amazing.
Yeah.
The other one that was brought up that I did, Sam Kinison. This generation doesn't even know who he was.
Oh man!
And he was so famous, and he died. His wasn't fat. His was fucking drugs, dude. Man.
Oh wait! This is the second time somebody's brought this up. The Boogie is planning on committing what? Somebody said R.I.P. Boogie earlier. Did something happen?
Well, R.I.P. Boogie has been a meme for a while now. I don't know what's going on with Boogie. I know his wife left him.
Yes.
And he's going through this whole change with the weight loss and stuff. And all of that is probably weighing on him because he's a sensitive soul to begin with.
Yeah.
If he needs help, I hope he gets it. I like Boogie. Even though he does a skit where he makes people like me sound crazy because of my name, bastard. But I like Boogie, so I hope he does.
Real quick, so in relation to Carrot Top, if you want to see the funniest thing that's not specifically Carrot Top talking, but about Carrot Top, look up Norm Macdonald, chairman of the board, Conan O'Brien, on YouTube. It is one of the funniest interviews Conan O'Brien ever did because Norm Macdonald completely lays waste, and it's awesome. I won't say much more. Data Wasteland and Scribe Light, did you know Jerry Lewis is still alive? What, the killer? I'm not surprised.
I actually like Bo Burnham.
Bo Burnham's not bad. I have a problem with Bo Burnham because I blame him for all of the comedians now who think they have to sing.
Yeah.
Wait, did you mean Jerry Lewis the comedian or Jerry?
I think he was Jerry Lewis the comedian.
Well, the comedian has been dead for like a year and a half.
Jerry Lewis died?
Jerry Lee Lewis, the singer, is alive. That's who you meant. But Jerry Lewis died in August of 2017. You didn't know that, Monkey? I talked about that last year because Jerry Lewis was always on my list of like, here's a celebrity that should have died by now. Like every year when people did like, what celebrities are going to, they had a Deadpool kind of thing, like who's going to die this year. I always said Jerry Lewis. God, this guy. Why is this guy still alive? When he died after Robin Williams, for God's sakes, But yeah, he died last year.
Scribe is questioning whether or not I forgot something.
No, I know.
Where's that one? Rodney Carrington. I love Rodney Carrington's stand-up or his old stuff. His more recent show that I think it was on Netflix was not funny. It just wasn't, and I don't know how he missed so hard because his old stuff was funny as hell.
Let's see. Jack Unsey says, "Oh damn, I remember Scribe's Deadpool story. How long I've been watching this show? Well, at least a year thereabouts, because I think the last time I brought it up was when he died." Let's see. Black Romeo says, I love Bo Burnham. He's sarcastic. His sarcastic attitude is awesome. I love his songs Kill Yourself and We Think We Know You. Also, his Kanye rant is eye-opening.
Oh, yeah.
RJ Vansma says, I sell propane and propane accessories. Oh, okay.
Okay.
I like Lower Your Expectations. That song is funny as hell.
Oh, shit. What's that comedian's name? I forget his name.
You forgot something?
I can see his face.
Uh-oh.
There's several comedians around right now that I love, and now I'm gonna have to go to Netflix so I can tell you who they are. Because y'all need to laugh more. That's what the world needs. The world needs more laughter.
What the world needs now is not jokes. Wait, you can't laugh at that, monkey.
You didn't explain to me that it was a joke. Shit.
Well, that's true. Data Wasteland, Rodney Dangerfield. Rodney Dangerfield at his best was hilarious. Who was I going to say? Don Rickles. Don Rickles almost never stopped being funny. Don Rickles was the greatest, and he's like the only guy who could get away with burning people the way he did. If you watch any of his later interviews, like on Jimmy Kimmel Show and all that stuff, he was great. Let's see. RJ Bansma says, Tim Allen is funny. What should I do with this flamethrower?
John Mulaney. You don't watch him. He is funny. He can tell his story. John Mulaney.
Okay.
Look him up if you've never heard of him. He's got some great shows on
Thank
Netflix.
you, Diesel Dave. Bert Kirshner, The Machine, is on YouTube. Okay. Dark Isle, George Burns. George Burns' stuff. He was hilarious too, in his own way. It's sort of like, his stuff is absolutely G-rated and tame today compared to a lot of people, but he was still funny. Didn't matter. Let's see. Ebony says, you guys are the highlight of the majority of my week. Well, thank you for having your standards set so low, Ebony.
Indeed.
We love you too.
Yeah. Groucho says Gregory Hurst. Oh God. Yeah. Groucho got away with so much shit on Pressure Luck. If you watch like episodes of that old show, there was so much subtext in a lot of that stuff that just, they were able to get away with a lot of stuff back then as long as it was innuendo, and he did some of the best. Ryan Rawlings says, Ranting Monkey, are you ready for Satsu's revenge? Oh, you guys doing a stream tonight?
Satsu doesn't get any more revenge. And yes, we are. We should be playing 7 Days to Die right after the stream.
Okay, over on 2 Cents Plus.
Satsu's going to keep pushing his luck, and he's going to find himself in trouble.
We need 50 more subscribers, guys. 50 more.
Let's see. RJ Bansma says, you guys are as funny as Tim Allen. Is Scribe my Dr. Pepper? What? You don't get to drink me. Unless you're like...
He wants you to spit.
Unless you're super hot and like of age.
It's like, you don't get to drink me unless you're tied up, bitch.
Well, there's that too, but that's for private time. Ragnar.
There he is. The other one I was going to tell you guys about, Dimitri Martin. If you don't watch Dimitri, he is instead of a poor man Stephen Wright, he is a rich man Stephen Wright.
Ragnar Ulfbert says Frankie Boyle, the Scottish comedian, was killer. Yeah, Frankie Boyle was good. I like Frankie Boyle. I liked the Australian guy. I just forgot his name. Jeff. Fuck, what was his name?
I like Jeff too.
He was on Bill Maher and got a whole bunch of flack recently for being sort of a. Damn it! It'll come to me some other time. Whatever.
Have you guys ever seen Bill Burr's animated show? Like he's got an animated cartoon like Family Guy or whatever.
No.
It's fucking hilarious. It's actually kind of uncomfortable because it's just about his broken marriage.
Mm-hmm. Sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead.
Terry Diamandis got Jim Jeffries. That's who I meant. I don't know. I said, yeah. Sorry. It's like something came. It's like, not Jeff. I mean, it was Jeffries, but yeah, same difference.
Tim Conway is he dead? I can't remember.
I think he did. Let's see.
He may have been one of the funniest people to ever live.
Nope, he's still alive. 84 years old.
F is for family, yeah.
Delivers lines the best straight man ever.
Look up Tim Conway and the Elephant Story on YouTube, where he was on the Carol Burnett show. It's It's some of like it's like the most gentle G-rated gut rolling. Actually, just about anything him and Harvey Korman did on Carol Burnett's show was just great. RJ Bansma says thoughts on the nanny returning. Can you guys do some catchphrases from the nanny? I can't do any catchphrases from the nanny except that she sounded like this all the time.
I never watched the show because I couldn't listen to her voice.
Yeah. I saw a mashup of the trolling that the butler and the girlfriend did against each other back and forth. That stuff was really funny, like seeing a compilation of it on YouTube. I never really watched the show, though, because I couldn't stand her voice, and I didn't care for that show. So.
Yeah, I have nothing against the show. I literally can't comment on it other than I have very sensitive ears, and there's certain sounds I cannot take, and that's one of them.
Yeah, Fran Drescher just wasn't my cup of tea.
What do you guys think of Burt Reynolds, Carol O'Connor, and Red Fox? Okay,
They're all dead. Oh, wait, Burt Reynolds is still alive.
Yeah, he is. Carol O'Connor as Archie Bunker was funny as hell, and Red Fox, oh my god.
Yeah.
Red Fox is another one of those people who had a TV show, and so folks would take their kids to his comedy show not knowing the comedy he did.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Because Red was dirty.
Yes, he was.
Dirty.
Yeah.
Funny as hell. Yeah, I love Red Fox.
Dark allows us Gomer Pyle. Hey, Jim Neighbors, man. As Gomer Pyle, he was funny. Anything else? Yeah. Thank you, Circus Zero. Now everyone, Conway Twitty.
I love Conway Twitty.
Conway Twitty. Oh man,
that's the man who, at the time when country music was very clean, would sing songs about fucking people.
Yeah,
and get away with it.
Yeah.
Conway Twitty was a panty dropper.
Oh man.
The only reason I know about Conway Twitty is because of Family.
Yeah.
I can sing you a bunch of Conway Twitty songs. My mom.
Well, looks Conway. Like I need a distraction. Everyone.
Raz Dazzler says we all forgot about Mel Brooks. Well, I didn't forget about Mel Brooks, but we're talking about stand-up, and Mel Brooks was more of a cinematic comedian than anything else.
Yeah.
At least he's more well known for that and writing stuff. Was he ever a stand-up comic? I don't think so.
I don't know if he was or not, but him and Richard Pryor together is why Blazing Saddles is probably my favorite movie from him.
Wait, Richard Pryor was in Blazing Saddles?
Richard Pryor helped write Blazing Saddles.
Oh, right. I was like, wait a second. He wasn't in. Okay, all right.
No, because he was supposed to play the sheriff.
Yes.
And for some reason couldn't or didn't. So they got, what's his name? Anyway, they got the other black guy in there. And but the reason so much of that is funny is because you have two of the greatest comedy minds ever working together. Mm-hmm. And that was beautiful.
Check Your Logic says, why does my birthday have to fall on Sunday, a.k.a. the most boring day of the week? Well, remind us tomorrow. We'll sing you early birthday. Thank you, Diesel Dave. Joey Coco Diaz, Socially Unacceptable. Okay, I assume that's a comedy show. Let's see. Scribe Light, are you a fan of Al Mama's Boy Borland from Home Improvement? He was funny. Richard Carnes. He was a great straight man. Yeah, Sargon of Akkad. Yeah, he was a great straight man, and he did exactly what a celebrity should do after his time is gone. He dedicated basically all his time to playing golf and donating to charity. So good for him. Cleavon Little says, Random American.
What about Mel Tillis? Mel Tillis was actually a funny guy. He really was. Decent singer, but a very funny guy. My dad used to listen to stuff, and I've gone back and listened to some since my dad died, and he was actually really funny.
Stunlock Joe says, Cleavon Little Monkey, my mother grew up with him, and that's my claim to fame. Well, cool. Okay, guys, we're at the 2-minute warning. Probably going to be a minute warning here in about a minute.
Where all the white women at is the greatest line in movie history.
Pardon me while I whip this out. That's the one I always remember. I always remember that one. Everyone's like,
I do wonder what that movie would have been like with another Pryor. What the hell's his name? The Cisco kid.
Gene Wilder.
Gene Wilder. Yeah, thank you. Pryor Wilder matchup, but I wouldn't change it because it was awesome.
Yeah. Actually, I think Cleavon Little's probably ultimately better because he could carry the straight man thing a little bit more. I don't think I could take Pryor. I mean, it sounds odd to say. I don't think I could take Pryor as seriously, if you know what I mean. I don't know. It's
no, I get you. Yeah. If you watch his movies, it's a lot like many comedians. It's Richard Pryor in that role, not Richard Pryor playing that.
Exactly.
Role. The exception I would give to that, Brewster's Millions, he actually acted in. So
that's true. Let's see. RJ says, "Is it funny that comedian George Carlin also was a narrator for Thomas and Friends in the '90s?" It's not. I think it's funny.
Conductor.
Yeah, he was Mr. Conductor. My phone is beeping at me, which it does at this time of day because of work stuff. So that tells me that it's the top of the hour. So guys, that'll bring the show to a close. Guys, thank you so much for joining us tonight, as you always do. You are the best audience on the internet in the world. You have the death warrant on you in 12 systems for being so good. Everybody who donated, thank you so much for your generosity. I really appreciate it. And I will be spending some portion of that, as money is fungible, on Dr. Pepper in the near future. Moderators, thanks for keeping an eye on things, even though our chat is one of the most well-behaved in relative terms for the quality of this stream. Guys, so tomorrow night you will find us on Monkey's channel per usual, at the usual time. Soon after this stream, within about 15 minutes, go watch Monkey and Satsu kill zombies on 2 cents plus. And Monkey, Satsu, thank you for joining me as always.
Mm-hmm.
And guys, your lives make us sad. We'll see you tomorrow.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Wow, Satsu was nice.
I just said bye. I say bye to people I hate all the time.
Today's secret word is oniromancy.
Oh shit.
The fuck?
It's the magic of dreams.
Oh.
Oh, that's gay.
And totally not something that should just randomly appear on other people's streams between now and tomorrow night. At all. Yeah. Okay.